we cross the halfway point in the 2020 season as we come to the Iowa Speedway here in Newton, Iowa for the 6th round of the championship. And the main question is, can Jake Robertson join an elite group of drivers to try and get 3 races in a row to win? As welcome everyone to ASN's live coverage of the NASA RallyCross Challenge. It's Josh Mertz bringing you the call as always in the commentary box, and we'll go over our format today. And you'll notice at the top of the screen there a little bit something different. We'll go over that later. 20 cars getting ready to take part, so 4 heats per usual. 6 laps, 1 joker, and the top 2 will transfer. 2 LCQs, 4 laps for each, 1 joker, and the winner will transfer. Will give us 10 cars, 10 laps, and 2 jokers here at the Iowa Speedway. You'll notice at the top it says Simracer coin. What the hell is that? It's a new cryptocurrency and the official title sponsor of the NASA RallyCross Challenge and a presenting sponsor of the Automotive Sports Network. I could bore you to death with cryptocurrency facts all day, but just check out their website, simracercoin.org, for all of those details. We'll go into the point standings here before round number 6. Magnus Okenhog leads by 1 point over Matt Hartley, and Jake Robertson 4 points behind Philip Kraus, Ray Kingsbury, Dipple, A. Schmertz, Kingsbury, and Attard, the top 10. Qualifying results, as we are just about ready to get this race started. Look at the right-hand column there. We have 11 cars within half a second, and 6 of them are within 0.2. That's all I have to say as we get ready for heat number 1 here in Iowa. Unfortunately, we don't have the greatest of cameras here, apparently, so we'll try and get this one. On pole position, Jake Robertson, of course. What else is new? That's John Dipple alongside him, Jan Gronquist. And we also have Marwan Moftah and Jacob Kraus. Dan McDonald's in this race as well. As we get ready for our first heat this evening in Iowa. Revving the engines up, Robertson and Dipple on the front row of the grid, green flag. Gronquist gets a great start, cuts inside of Robertson into turn number 1. Dipple sandwiching him. Robertson tries to take the lead, gets nudged by Gronquist and over the jump. Normally that'd be a DQ. Around is no, that's McDonald with Kraus, I believe. So 2 cars out already. Gronquist takes to the joker. Oh, by the way, the rules changed over the last week to try and curb some lap 1 incidents. That's ironic because they crashed on the first lap. But jokers are now allowed on the first lap of the race. Gronquist leads us. Dipple in second. Third is Robertson. He cuts inside of Dipple, takes that spot away. And it looks as though once our timing decides to update, Gronquist leads ahead of Robertson, ahead of Dipple, Moftah, McDonald, and Kraus. Kraus jokers in the 29, puts him near Dipple, but those guys have not jokered. And Gronquist loves this as we take lap number 3, but he runs it wide in the 75. From high above, Gronquist leading, Robertson second, has not jokered, Dipple third, has not jokered, Moftah in 4th, and Kraus and McDonald having a nice battle. If it's for 5th, it doesn't really matter towards anything. Into the final corner to begin cross flags. Jan Gronquist will lead us in the LRL blue Subaru ahead of Jake Robertson in the Apex Racing Ford. So close to leading the points. If something goes right today for him, he should be out front. as our timing actually is fixed. Look at that. Gronquist still out front, ahead of Robertson, Dipple, Moftot, McDonald, and Kraus. 9.5 seconds between Gronquist and Robertson. The delta is about 10 to 11, I think. So it's fairly interesting to see what will happen over the next couple of laps. As Dipple third. Dipple might even pip his teammate. So we do some simple math. That's about 11 seconds from Gronquist to Dipple. So Gronquist might be hurting himself here by jokering on the first lap. He doesn't have the delta over the rest of the field as Moftot, McDonald, and Kraus, the rest of the running order. As we'll give you your daily treat of Jake Robertson on board the now 22 car. As Robertson will joker in the 22, Jacob Kraus is going to be off the lead lap. There's Gronquist, and Gronquist is going to get passed by Robertson and his teammate Dipple into the final corner. Dipple's going to hold on, I think. Robertson will win heat number 1 in Iowa. Dipple pips his teammate as Gronquist to the LCQ after a very impressive run. But those mix-ups in turn 1 kind of hurt him there. As we take a look at the Heat 1 results here, Jake Robertson and John Dipple, our first 2 seeds in Iowa tonight. Jan Gronquist, Marwan Moftot, Daniel McDonald, and Jacob Kraus. So those 4 drivers to the LCQ. So what a first race in Iowa. And like I said, the rule was changed to allow the jokers on the first lap of the race. Simply because there was too much chaos in Lucas Oil last week. There's all kinds of incidents going on there, as the point standings got shaken up a little bit due to a couple of penalties. And there's still potentially an appeal pending, but we'll have to let you know next week when we begin the Endurance Cup. We're heading out west to Arizona. There's Wild Horse and Wild West Motorsports Park. 2 completely separate tracks, very close to each other. One in Arizona, one in Nevada. Those are going to be some great races, but right now we have to get through Iowa. Jacob Herbert's on pole, Ray Kingsbury on the outside, Travis Seymour, what a start in the 144 ahead of Mikas, and that's Cohen Attard, I believe, in the 131 around turn 1. Seymour gets hit by Attard, off the jump goes the 144, and the American not having a good start already. Chad Mikas gets turned from the 131 of Attard as well. Off the road is Kingsbury, and Herberts takes the lead and recovering nicely from last week in Indianapolis. As remember, he had that issue there, trying to take the lead, take the win. Mikas jokers in the 9. That's not really going to help him. Seymour in 3rd. Kingsbury and Herberts are in the transfer spots. Remember, our timing and scoring, I think because of this track, ends up a little broken for the first couple of laps, so we're just going to have to roll with it and deal with it. And Ray Kingsbury for Last Lap Motorsports on the podium, I believe, last week. And some momentum for the American with that Ford program. Sitting very nicely in points. I want to say 4th or 5th off the top of my head, battling with Philip Kraus. Herberts, what a 180, 360 even, from the luck he had last week in Indianapolis as we begin the 3rd lap of the race. The American stupid fast, really on pace with Jake Robertson, excuse me, there. So it's the battle of the Jacobs here in Iowa. Travis Seymour, after getting sent off the jump in the 144, the privateer Subaru. And Mikas in the 9, and Cohen Attard behind that shed there, behind the garage, has parked that Subaru. So 2 seconds from Herberts to Kingsbury. And we'll take a look how that delta has changed. It has doubled from the first 2 laps and marginally grown from the 3rd lap. But I think he knows that he might have this if he doesn't mess anything up. as this race was kind of ran already in turn 1 as Seymour got sent off the jump and Micus got turned around. So you just got to keep it nice and steady, and Harberts will bring home a heat victory. So one of the drivers from the inaugural iRacing season here with NASA Rallycross finished second in the Privateer Cup to Connor Parisi. What was interesting, they tied on points, but because it was a weird season for the Privateer Cup that season, because we had so many fast guys in, quote, privateer cars, Parisi won like 5 races in that classification, and Harberts showed up for all the races, but didn't win anything. So he was pipped to that championship due to that technicality. But now, since NASA officials have gotten a little smarter and decided, hey, maybe we should just put everyone in the same championship, we don't have to worry about that. Harberts is going to come around the final corner, take the white flag here in Iowa, ahead of Ray Kingsbury. As in about a half hour or so, over on our friends at STN Racing, you can catch the George Floyd Memorial 100 from the Charlotte Roval. Join myself and Evan Pasoko live to cover that race, as that one will be a great race as well, honoring those victims in those terrible incidents that have spread all across the country, created all the protests, the riots, all of that not so fun stuff. Back to NASA Rallycross. Harberts over the jump, wins Heat 2. I would say pretty much uncontested over Kingsbury. Kingsbury gave him a run, but 4.3 seconds behind car number 80. Seymour, Micus, and Attard. Let's get confirmation of those results for Heat number 2. LCQ for Seymour, for Micus and Attard, and not a good day for Micus. Micus has been taken out in almost every single race on lap 1. It's without fail. Happens every time. As Heat number 3 getting ready to go, we have 2 former champions of the NASA Rallycross Challenge in this heat race. Josh Mertz, 6-time champion. Brandon Lambert, inaugural 2012A champion of the series. Matt Hartley, Doug DeNice, and I know we're missing one other car. Green flag, it's Chris Wetz. Off the line, into turn number 1. Lambert shoves the 2 into the tire barrier, and the champions come together, and that's not the first time that that's happened. And good thing we can't display the radio because the 2's fuming. One of the fastest cars here for the first time all season, and that happens in turn 1. Hartley leads us. Nobody jokers on the first lap of the race. Wetz, Lambert, DeNice, and the 2's going to try and take advantage of this. I don't think it's going to work. No delta there. So technically he leads on the road, but certainly not a good day. The Australian, Matt Hartley, in second place as we end the first lap. The only thing the 2 can hope for is they crash together, or he's miraculously 2 seconds a lap faster than everybody else. But it's going to be very difficult to do. Hartley jokers will immediately see the rotation between those 2 drivers. No contest for the lead of the race. DeNice jokers as well in the 40. So the man from Missouri currently holds the second spot, as Wetz and Lambert have not jokered. This is not the first time that those 2 have come together. It has happened so many times over the years. I remember very vividly 2014A in Spain and Guadarrama. Can't tell you what happened, but I remember they crashed together. So for the past 8 years, they have come together. As we'll look for Wetz. He does not joker. Lambert does in the 46 for Spark VR LMT. Comes out ahead of DeNice. So the Tuesday is just getting worse. Hartley loves this. He's 4.3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Certainly that Motorless Motorsport crew. What's interesting is their setups are designed for the lower end torque of 6th gear. He basically drives in 6th gear. Don't ask me how it works, but it certainly is fast. DeNice third. And Wetz has not jokered, I do believe, in the 71, so we know one of the more successful drivers of the NASA Rallycross Challenge, sporadically appearing in the NASA Rallycross Challenge this season. As Hartley will take 2 to go. Lambert holds a transfer spot, but I think Wetz has that delta over him. If I do some quick math, I certainly think he does have it. As Denice, Mertz, and Wetz, if we take a look through turns 1 and 2, Wetz is going to have this once he jokers. Will he famously joker on the last lap of the race? No, on lap number 5, there's Hartley in the 48. Wetz jokers and takes the transfer away from Lambert in the 46. So the man from Texas got very close to winning the championship back in 2014A. I'm not going to bring up that dead horse again, but certainly refreshing to see him in a final transfer position. White flag for Hartley. Lambert in 3rd, Denice in 4th. Mertz in 5th, 37.541. Hartley 37.286. 38.2, 38.7 as we slowly take a look at the laps through the field. And Matt Hartley was a little bit off pace last week in Indianapolis, but we moved a little bit west, and the Australian back on the pace, winning heat number 3 ahead of Chris Wetz. As Brandon Lambert takes home the 3rd spot, having to go to the LCQ. Denice in 4th. And Mertz, after turn 1, comes home in 5th. So confirmation of those results for heat number 3. As our final heat race in Iowa, getting ready to go, heat number 4. Philip Kraus in this heat race. Matt Kingsbury. Points leader, Magnus Okenhog. Daniel Aish is in this race as well, along with Thomas Keene. Once our terrible cameras stop being so terrible. There we go. Getting ready for heat number 4 here in Iowa. Green flag. Aish gets a much better start than Okenhog down into turn number 1. Points leader battling with Matt Kingsbury over the jump, and the defending champion leads us as we begin lap number 1. And it's the second verse of the same song as Aish gets into Kraus. Contact again. Jokering is Keene, Okenhog, and Kingsbury, it looks like. I was going to say same song, second verse, because Okenhog's out of a transfer spot, but those guys battling very close. To the inside goes the points leader, Okenhog, on Keene, into the final corner, and the Norwegian gets it done. There's something about Scandinavian drivers, when they get angry, they somehow find a way to make it work. As we begin lap number 2, Matt Kingsbury ahead of Okenhog, ahead of Keene, as Aish and Kraus. And I don't know if Kraus will joker early or not. We'll have to see. This is a battle. As we go up to Okenhog, battle with him and Kingsbury. This is for the race lead. And into the final corner, getting very close. But he still holds the lead in the 26. So our timing apparently is still broken. But it'll fix itself. Kingsbury, Keene, Kraus, and Daniel Aish. Is Daniel, the motorless motorsport cars, they are stupid fast, but they've been ping pong balls all season. Not really sure what's going on there. As the Ford, the Subaru run 2 distinctive lines through the oval and down onto the road course once again. We take cross flags in heat number 4. Kingsbury 2nd. Keene is 3rd. When is Kraus going to joker is the real thing. If we do quick math, he's about 10 seconds behind. As Kingsbury on the outside of Okenhog as we go through the oval and back down onto the road course. Kingsbury, I don't think, can seal the deal. He can hang with the 26, but he can't seal the deal. 2 laps to go. Keen in the 3rd spot. As Kraus last lap 36.968. This current lap 36.398 for the defending champion. In contrast, 0.997 for Keen, 37.5 for Kingsbury, and a 37.3 for Oakenhog. So we're coming to the white flag here in Iowa. Very clean racing other than the turn 1 schmozzles. But even then, from last week, it has been cleaned up. So very straightforward races, very easy races to call here. There's Oakenhog, Kingsbury, Keen. Will Kraus Joker in the 1? He does. It's his only opportunity. There's Oakenhog in the 26, and Kraus pips them both! So the defending champion, despite being a little bit slower, I think the battling held them up. So Kraus sneaks it away and wins heat number 4 ahead of the points leader, Magnus Oakenhog, and Matt Kingsbury to the LCQ, along with Thomas Keen and Daniel Aish. C-Main time here in Newton, Iowa. Jan Gronquist, Brandon Lambert, Marwan Moftah, Doug Denice, Josh Mertz. We should be getting a 6th car here in just a second once they grid up. There's no Volkswagens again in NASA RallyCross. We haven't seen a Volkswagen. Remember, this is a 4-lap race, and only the winner transfers. As Daniel McDonald, our 6th seed in the C-Main, getting ready to go for 4 laps. The first LCQ of the night here in Iowa. Green flag off the line. McDonald gets a great start over Moftah. Doesn't matter, it's not for the lead, along with Mertz into turn number 1. The 2 runs it very wide. McDonald gets nabbed by the 191. Over the jump goes the 2, taking the 5th spot. And side by side, Gronquist with Lambert. Gronquist runs it wide in the 75. His teammate in the 95 behind him. What Joker rotation will we see? Mertz takes it. Lambert takes it as well. So will we get a repeat of the heat race? We'll have to see in a couple moments' time. McDonald, Moftah, Gronquist, and Denice are leading that parade that have not taken the Joker. And these two have to make sure they can hold the delta between those cars to battle between themselves. As McDonald leading that brigade, Gronquist over the jump very long in the 75 there. Moftah runs it wide in the 191, the former race winner, not having a great time as he jokers in the Subaru along with Denice, but Denice in the wall in the 40. This battle's getting frantic for the lead, but I'm worried that these guys might get pipped over the jump. Mertz lands on Lambert's car. Moftah in 3rd there. These guys battling so hard they forgot that the LRL cars have not jokered yet. 2 to go. A frantic battle between the former champions, but I don't think it's going to help them. And these guys are going to wait till the final lap. No, Gronquist is going to joker now. He comes out behind Mertz ahead of Moftah. Will we see the bumper from the 2? He goes to the inside of Lambert and takes the spot. White flag in the C-Main. We focus on Daniel McDonald in the 95 because if he can take the Joker and not mess this up, the 2 is going to be fuming. Into turns 1 and 2 for McDonald for the final time. He takes to the Joker. Where's the 2? He's going to pip everyone, and McDonald to the lead in the C-Main. Mertz 2nd. Gronquist to the inside for 3rd on Lambert. Oh, and this is not going to go well in the MRT stable. McDonald wins the C-Main. Mertz will seed 11th in Iowa. 13th McDonald, 15th is Lambert, and 17th is Doug Denice. And I think that says it all. And the B main in Newton, Iowa. Chad Mikas on the second row of the grid. Travis Seymour there in the 144. Looks like he will be on pole position. Cohen Attard, Thomas Keene, Jacob Kraus, and I believe Matt Kingsbury is going to be in this race as well. Along with Daniel Aish, Matt Kingsbury. There we go. 7 cars, 4 laps, 1 spot. Getting ready to go for the B main in Iowa. Green flag. Seymour gets a terrible start, unlike last race, and into turn number 1, Mikas gets turned again, this time by Cohen Attard. And Mikas, Attard off the jump and penalizes himself, really. Seymour off the road in turn number 1, jokering is Kingsbury on the first lap of the race, and Keene side by side with Seymour there, and Keene gets sent in the chicane. Keene's going to come back out onto the track in front of Cohen Attard, and the 4 up and over and rolls it. Big crash for Thomas Keene. Matt Kingsbury doesn't care. He loves this. His teammate just got yeeted, as he would say, but he's leading in Iowa. And the Motorless Motorsport cars, we might only see Hartley in the final, as his teammates have been all over the place. Seymour in 3rd, Kraus in 4th. They both run it wide. Cohen Attard in 5th, Keene in 6th. For once again, in 2020A, Mikas has parked the car, so Chad Mikas not having a good night in the number 9. Cross flags for Matt Kingsbury in the B main, and there's Mikas in the paddock. Daniel Aish in the 2nd spot. As our timing still is yet to be fixed once these guys cross the line. So there we go. All fixed. As Daniel Aish, I think he just jokered, but he comes out nowhere close to Kingsbury, so all that ping-ponging is not helping him, as Kingsbury takes the white flag in Iowa. Joker lap was last lap from Aish. Jacob Kraus in front of Cohen Attard. They both jokered, and Kraus is ahead of Attard in the 131, side by side through 1 and 2, but Kraus comes down into Attard, and contact between them, and over again in the chicane. Jokering, it looks like, is it's Seymour, but that doesn't matter, as Kingsbury wins the B main in Iowa. Seating 12th will be Daniel Aish. 14th, Travis Seymour. 16th is going to be Attard. He's the last car to get a point, tentatively, today in Iowa. 18th, Keene. 20th, Kraus, and 21st, Chad Mikas. So confirmation of the B main. This is 12th onwards, every other even position. So 12th, 14th, 16th, 18th, 20th, 22nd, unofficially, of course, will be Aish down to Mikas. The B main results is 11th onwards, the odd positions, Mertz, Gronquist, Lambert, Mofta, and Denice. And let's get a reminder of the championship standings coming into the Iowa Grand Prix. Magnus Okenhog by 1 point over Matt Hartley. Jake Robertson a further 3 behind. Philip Kraus battling with Ray Kingsbury for 4th. They are a huge margin behind the top 3. 67 and 63 respectively. John Dipple with 59, Daniel Aish with 43, Mertz with 41, Matt Kingsbury with 36, Cohen Attard with 35. That's the top 10 in the points. Once again, like I said, glad you could join us here on the Automotive Sports Network for round number 6 of the 2020 NASA RallyCross Challenge, the Simracer coin NASA RallyCross Challenge. New title sponsor for the series and for the Automotive Sports Network. Like I said in the opener, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of cryptocurrency facts. Just check out their website, simracercoin.org, for all of those details. And in just a couple moments' time, over on STN Racing, our friends over there, Zach Johnson, as you can join myself and Evan Pasoko for the George Floyd Memorial 100 from the Charlotte Roval. I can tell you the last time I was at the Charlotte Roval for Solstice Racing, that was a great race as well. My buddy Dylan Body, I think, is going to be spotting for Nick Dawson. So everyone, everywhere, you'll have Michael Frisch there. So one of the former Solstice champions. So it's going to be a good race. We'll have to check that one out in just a couple moments. Back to the point standings of NASA Rallycross. Jan Gronquist, Daniel McDonald, Marwan Moftah, Jarrett Liebert, Sindre Silva. Remember, we haven't seen Liebert, Silva. We haven't seen Morgan. Derbyshire got a provisional here today, as Flynn Lazier, Kevin Guy Dorsich, those guys are both not here. Micah Swets, Denice, no Erdman again, no Lugo Vickery, Lambert, no Livingood, no Thomas Keane. And SDK Gaming still thinks Vicente Salas is salad. I'm not sure why it's still broken. But Justin Bren, Nick Dawson, Josh Kosick, Dan Ensch, and Tristan Hagenstein. So a total of 34 drivers throughout the season have run races. And as we're running through warm-up here, looks like Jacob Harberts. That is a joker lap from the 80 car. But everyone pretty much on top of one another, as our grid in no particular order: Jake Robertson, Ray Kingsbury, Jacob Harberts, Chris Wetz, Philip Kraus, Danny McDonald, Dipple, Oakenhog, Hartley. As that is our running order, or our grid, I should say, getting ready for the 6th round of the championship. What's actually pretty cool about this Simracer coin partnership with the NASA Rallycross Challenge is some of the benefits that the top 3 in the championship will receive. Now, of course, like I said, cryptocurrency, a lot of boring facts there, but the championship winner, at least this season, is going to get 2,500 coins. Second place, 1,500. And third is 1,000. You double those amounts for the full season amount, and that's what you'll get. Of course, the league gets an amount, but this is a great growth for the NASA Rallycross Challenge, as they've never had an entitlement sponsor before. And ASN had a title sponsor way back in 2013. That didn't really prove out to be anything. It was with a design company. We'll put it that way. Hartley, in no way, shape, or form, ran an 11-second lap. Once again, timing's broken. But we're just finishing up here in Iowa. And why not? Let's ride on board Matt Hartley in the 48. As we'll quickly go over the results of warm-up once they're properly fixed. Harberts, Kraus, Wetz, Robertson, McDonald, Oakenhog, Dipple, Kingsbury, Hartley, and Kingsbury. And oh boy, this is going to be a good one. So on pole position, you could have predicted this, right? Jake Robertson in car number 22. Second on the grid, Jacob Harberts, Matt Hartley, and Philip Kraus. John Dipple, Ray Kingsbury, Chris Wetz, Magnus Ogenhog. Those were the second place drivers in those heat races, and the winners of the C main, Daniel McDonald, and the B main, Matt Kingsbury. 10 cars for 10 laps here in Newton, Iowa, as we kick off the second half of the NASA RallyCross Challenge in 2020A. Green flag. 4 wide into turn 1. Kraus gets a better run than Harbertson to turn number 1. Side by side, Robertson with the defending champion, and Kraus off the road. He got hit by the 22 over the jump. Harberts with Hartley. They take the second and third spots. Kingsbury in fourth, and Kraus for the second consecutive week this season, struggling in car number 1. Jokering on the first lap of the race, we'll see the rotation. It looks as though it was only Ray Kingsbury with Hartley as Wetz around. Robertson slides it in the 22, and Kraus is around as well. A day goes from bad to worse for the defending champion. Hartley leads at the end of the first lap ahead of Kingsbury and Robertson in the 22 and third. We'll have to keep an eye on this battle between the 80 and the 22 all evening long. Harberts is stupid fast today in that Ford Fiesta. Inside of Robertson there, did not make it happen. Jokering is both of them on the second lap of the race. That should rotate them ahead of Hartley. It does. As it looks like we lost Kingsbury. No, Kingsbury jokered. His strategy's done. So the American to the lead. So this is going to be interesting to see. Can Kingsbury hold this delta? Dipple 5th, 6th Ogenhog, 7th Matt Kingsbury, battling with Daniel McDonald. 9th is Philip Kraus, and 10th is Wetz. Harberts jokers again. He gets ahead of Kingsbury, and Hartley jokered as well. So we'll put Harberts to the lead in car number 80. Kingsbury 3rd. Robertson has a joker left. And if you're Jacob Harberts, step on the gas pedal, because we know how fast Robertson is. If Robertson can take this victory today, he's going to join 3 drivers to make 3 consecutive victories in the NASA RallyCross Challenge. This guy, Philip Kraus, this guy, Chris Wetz, and the other guy is Cody Erdman. 4th wall break, interestingly. I never had the luck to do it. I made 4 and 5 races, but I never made it consecutively. Anyways, second place, Hartley. This is a nice battle for the second spot with Ray Kingsbury and Matt Hartley. And Hartley, I think, is faster than the 48. So this Ford program's stupid fast. I think the Ford's better on the pavement. It's interesting to see. Points leader Ogenhog takes to the joker. This will put him into second place. As there's a look as Robertson in 4th. Hartley battling with Ogenhog. This is for the second spot. Hartley's going to joker. No, he just ran it a little bit wide. They're probably trying to get a little bit less dirt to get more grip. So this battle for the second spot. We're coming to 4 laps to go. 3 seconds from Harberts to Ogenhog, but it doesn't really matter for them. Great battle between these guys. The championship contenders, Ogenhog and Hartley, the Norwegian with the Australian into the final corner. Hartley's going to cut him off. Contact between them. Kingsbury knocks him up as well and hits him sideways there. Over the jump to 25 behind these 2 drivers. The gap is growing. Harberts to Hartley. 4 seconds nearly. And this is the good battle that we've got focused on here. As what a move in that hairpin from Hartley. Got the bite, got the jump. As Matt Kingsbury jokers and comes out behind his brother. As you looked on the timing pylon there. And Harberts takes 3 to go. Both the Kingsbury brothers now closing up on the championship contenders. Ogenhog hit the curb there in turn 1. And Hartley pulling away. We'll have to keep an eye on Jake Robertson in the 22, because he, I believe, is going to have this delta over Harberts. Dipple Joker's ahead of him. Actually comes out behind him. And McDonald and Kingsbury, battling. And looks like they touched there in the final corner. These two side by side again. From high above, Robertson's gonna Joker. Where will he come out in relation to Harberts? He gets by him. Wetz is off the lead lap now. Well, nearly off the lead lap. And Jake Robertson is gonna sneak it away. White flag if he can hold on to this. The gap was nearly 10 seconds on lap number 4. And at least we know now the Joker rotation's about 11 seconds here in Iowa. Harbert second. Third is Hartley. Fourth now is Okenhog. This battle has subsided. These guys are still side by side like it's the last lap of the championship. McDonald and Kingsbury. Final corner, and Robertson's going to do it. He is the 4th driver in the history of the series, 3 in a row, as he wins in Iowa ahead of Jacob Harberts. John Dipple jokered and pipped Hartley from a podium position. We missed that one there. Apologies for that. Okenhog 5th, 6th Kingsbury. Philip Kraus, very quiet run for 7th after crashing on the first lap. Matt Kingsbury, Daniel McDonald, they were racing like it was the end of the race. And Chris Wetz comes home in 10th, celebrating because he made a final. But what else do we say about this kid? 3 in a row. And let's show you this once we get there. The red plate for Jake Robertson in the 22 by 4 points over Matt Hartley after the horrible luck that he had on the first couple rounds of the championship. As Hartley, 2nd in points, 3rd Okenhog, 4th Kraus, 5th Kingsbury, Dipple, Aish, Mertz, Kingsbury, and Gronquist. Just to remind you of the B main results. Remember, this is 12th down the order, every even place. Aish, Seymour, Attard, Keene, Kraus, and Micus. And the C main is 11th down the order, every odd place. Mertz, Gronquist, Lambert, Moftot, and Denice. So what a race here in Iowa. I know I say that every single week, but it certainly was a great race. As thank you to all of us for joining us and watching this fantastic race on the Automotive Sports Network. Tune in just a couple moments on STN Racing for the George Floyd Memorial 100. But from all of us here at ASN, we'll see you next week for the Endurance Cup. But until then, so long, everyone.